Agent Gibbs is the whole package. He's smart, funny, and has enough soul to last him a lifetime. With all of that comes his amazing detective-like quirks. His one-liners are killer, sure, but so are his specific rules. They're equal parts funny and mysterious, and in today's video, we'll be talking about some of the best ones, specifically Rule 91, which he named his boat after. Let's jump right in. First off, Rule 91 and the boat. Whenever we'd see him on screen, we'd be jotting down the gems he'd throw out. A lot of fans even have each and every rule compiled in a list. The biggest part of it is that they're not just spontaneous witticisms. Gibbs had a hard past, and every time he comes up with a line he abides by, it means something. Other than that, there's also the fact that CBS has named literal episodes after them. The finale of Season 7, for example, which is called Rule 51. And of course, it was Sometimes You're Wrong. It's little Easter eggs like these that really satisfy you when you figure them out. Rule 91 has to be the most comforting one yet. Let's walk it back. It says that when you walk away, don't look back. Think back to the Season 18 finale. Boy, there was a lot going on, but this applies to Gibbs' situation specifically. He was going to get kicked off the team for good and went off the books. Yep, he literally left NCIS and took it upon himself to find a serial killer. The boat acts as a symbol for this untimely departure, and that's what we mean when we say these rules are pretty solid. They've got depth to them. He's leaving behind yet another old life in his boat, so he named it after the most bittersweet rule of all. McGee definitely figures this one out. Throughout the series, his co-workers have racked their brains, just like us, to find out what Gibbs is always on about. So, their origins. Speaking of motives, he's got a very heartwarming one behind this. We never get to see Leroy write his affirmations down and put them in his tin, but we know that it's there. Every day when he comes home from work, it's part of his routine. It was back in Season 6 that we found out just why he does this. In the last few minutes of the finale, we found out this habit came from his first wife, Shannon. It's a very sweet story, actually. When the two first met, she told him that everyone needs a code they can live by. She passed away tragically in a car crash, and it left Gibbs ruined, understandably so. After their wedding, he started writing each little guideline down. We got a little glimpse of the tin in Season 7, but that was it. Well, at least you can buy versions of them on Amazon as NCIS merch. What gives this even more of a twist is that only we know Leroy's reasons. The rest of the characters don't, and it doesn't seem like they ever will. Denotso does try real hard to figure them out, but he never gets close enough. It doesn't help their curiosity when Gibbs admits that his life before NCIS was a little shady. But oh well, guess that's the charm. It also makes our relationship with him as an audience all the more intimate. For a comedy crime show, they really know how to write a kick-ass character. And now, some other really cool rules. Did you know that he's only quoted Shannon once? Yep, and it's a pretty hilarious one at that. In Season 1, he infamously dropped a pearl of wisdom, which was that you should never date a lumberjack. Well, no one has so far, so this system seems to work. They're not all very original though. That's what makes Gibbs all the more lovable, because we all love to quote our favorite actors or thinkers. Never say you're sorry, it's an act of weakness is actually a line borrowed from a John Wayne movie. Never meet your heroes is another one of these, and it's the oldest line in the book. Every superhero story embodies it, while shows like The Boys make it a whole theme. Plus, he doesn't follow all of them as strictly as he says he does. Take the 10th one, for example. Never get personally involved in a case. Of course, it'd be hard for any detective to stick to that one, let alone the ones in this show. In the episode Obsession, Denotso admitted that he's had the most trouble with this rule. Gibbs told him he has too. Then while Season 16 was coming to a close, we saw him burning the text he'd written. Guess that one just wasn't meant to last. He's gone back on another law that says you should never be unreachable. It's very relatable, because sometimes you just are caught up, out of sight, out of mind. He usually goes ghost when he's undercover, so this one's a bit weird. Oh well, we wouldn't put it past him. So, another thing about Rule 91. The 19th season premiere was a doozy. Gibbs had sat out on his boat, but then it exploded. He did survive it, but it kinda shows just how he's a flawed human being, just like everyone else. Sometimes your past is too big and too dark to walk away from. You've gotta look back somehow. McGee sees this pretty clearly. Don't get us wrong. He's so relieved to see his coworker alive, but also tells him this rule of his isn't gonna work. It says it's a direct violation of the first one, which is to never screw your partner over. When you make a plan to just up and leave, obviously you're leaving people with questions. Someone who'll be affected the most is gonna be your partner. Leroy tries to stay within his system, but he also bends it a bit. That's another piece of wisdom of his, by the way. When he said to bend the line, never break it, this is what he meant. When the team reunites, he's pretty open to working with his NCIS colleagues again. Maybe not as partners, but something in the middle. At the end of the day, your focus is to track down criminals and seek justice. You gotta do what you gotta do. It's also got significance for Mark Harmon himself. When the entire boat fiasco was happening, Harmon himself was looking to leave the show. Turns out he was fully ready to, but couldn't permanently, because if he did, it would have been canceled altogether. So he settled for appearing in a limited capacity and put in more work behind the camera. And now, for some other NCIS news you might have missed out on. Firstly, Katrina Law talks about her life after Harmon's departure. As fans, it gutted us, but Harmon's colleagues also felt the hit. Gibbs was like the glue, and once that's gone, the team can get a little clueless. Law and Cole shared some of of their thoughts on the dynamic on set after he went, and you can find this in the DVD box set. The perks of exclusive content. Anyway, Law starts by telling us her favorite script ever. It was when they were all on the boat post-Gibbs, and Alden took them all under his wing. He put himself at risk, but anything for the team, y'all. It was the first moment they all came together since Leroy left, and they were all a dysfunctional, loving family. Cole even said that filling out the new guy's shoes is pretty fun, if not daunting. Next up, Harmon talks about leaving the show. Both Perrette and Harmon had their reasons for leaving the show, but it wasn't until recently that Harmon commented on his departure. He shared some of his thoughts in a special featurette on the 19th season DVD. This is your cue to stock up on DVD sets. There is so much exclusive content available. Anyway, Mark stated that what drew him in was the opportunity to play his roles in new ways. By that point, he was convinced that Gibbs' approach was sincere. Plot-wise, it made sense to him. Lastly, a new look at Kenzie and Marty. NCIS LA has us all dying with anticipation, but luckily the stars are willing to oblige. Medallion Raimi, who plays Fatima Namazi, posted a picture on her Instagram of her and her co-stars, and it's our first peek at Kenzie and Marty in season 14. The new foster parents seem to be in the flush of parenthood here. Olsen is sporting a backwards cap and cargo pants, while Rua's in a burgundy tee and jeans. The gang's all here because Caleb Castile's in the mix too. Of course, we're all still worried about their family unit in case Kessler comes back and raises hell, but oh well, guess we'll have to wait and see. There will be a high-speed chase, that's for sure. You've got a psychotic killer on the loose, so it's never a dull moment with NCIS. Well, that's all for this video, folks. What's your favorite Gibbs rule? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. See you in the next video.